The lecture hall on Zorath Prime was huge and bright. Tall crystal walls let in soft blue light from the twin suns outside. Rows of seats rose in circles around a central platform. Students from many species sat there. Tall insectoids with shiny shells clicked their legs. Soft-furred mammals from the outer rings twitched their ears. Scaled beings from hot worlds flicked their tongues. All of them listened to the professor. Professor War stood on the platform. He was a tall, thin alien with 4 arms and pale green skin. He wore a long robe that shimmered when he moved. Today he spoke about old galactic myths. His voice came smooth and calm through the translation devices in everyone's ears. Today we study one of the strangest legends, he said. The mythical uniform of the humans. A few students made soft laughing sounds. Others leaned forward with interest. Vor raised one hand, and a large hologram appeared above him. Dark blue fabric, long sleeves, buttons in a straight line. Most important was the high, stiff collar that stood up around the neck. Look at this, the professor continued. This garment was called a uniform. Humans wore it in their old military and official groups. They said it showed order and discipline, but many in the galaxy found it strange. The collar was tight. It looked uncomfortable. It restricted movement. Why wear something that makes your neck stiff? Why choose clothes that slow you down in a fight? More soft laughs came from the seats. An insectoid student named Zilvar raised one claw. Professor, did humans really think this made them strong? It looks like it would choke them. Vor smiled. Exactly. That is what makes the myth so interesting. Humans were a young species. They spread fast across many stars. Then, almost overnight, they disappeared from most records. Some say they died out. Some say they hid. But the uniform stayed in stories. It became a symbol of something lost, a relic from a primitive time. He changed the hologram. Now it showed drawings of humans in battle. All wore the same jacket. All had the same high collar. Some pictures showed them standing in perfect lines. Others showed them running, fighting, bleeding. Always the collar stayed up. Notice how the collar never bends, Vor said. Even when the human falls, the collar points to the sky. Poets in many cultures wrote about it. They called it a sign of pride, or foolishness, or both. In the back row, far from the bright center light, one seat was different. A single human sat there. Her name was Ha-Un. She looked young, maybe 30 standard years, but her eyes were old and calm. She had dark hair tied back neatly. She wore a simple dark jacket. The collar stood high around her neck. It looked exactly like the one in the hologram. The Academy had invited her as a living consultant, a real human to answer questions about old myths. Most students thought she was just there for show, a curiosity, a piece of history that still breathed. Ha-Un listened quietly. She did not laugh. She did not move much. Her hands rested on her knees. Every few minutes she touched the edge of her collar with 2 fingers, as if checking it was still there. Professor Vor went on. The uniform was not just clothes, it was a promise. Humans said it made them equal. Rich or poor, strong or weak, when they wore it, they were the same. They stood together. They fought together. They died together. That is why the legend says the uniform was magical. Not because it had power, but because it changed how humans acted when they wore it. A furry student from the Ring Worlds named Lyra asked, "But if it was so special, why did humans stop wearing it? Why did they vanish?" Vor paused. That is the question no one can answer. Some old data says humans lost big wars. Others say they chose to leave the central galaxy. They went to quiet places, small colonies, hidden systems, and they stopped wearing the uniform in public. Or maybe they never stopped. Maybe they just stopped showing it to others. He turned off the hologram. The room became a little darker. "Tomorrow we begin the practical part," he said. Each group will make a copy of the uniform using the old patterns. You will study how it fits, how it moves, how it feels. Then you will write why such a simple thing became a myth. The students started to talk among themselves. Some stood up. Others checked their datapads. Ha-Un stayed in her seat. She waited until most of the room was empty. Then she stood slowly. She pulled her jacket straight. She reached up with both hands and adjusted her collar. She tugged it gently so it sat perfect against her skin. She spoke very softly, almost to herself, but the translation device carried her words clearly through the quiet hall. "Feels snug after all these years," she said. A few students near the door stopped. They turned. Zilvar clicked his mandibles in surprise. Lyra's ears stood straight up. Ha-Un did not look at them. She walked down the steps toward the exit. Her steps were calm and even. The high collar stayed perfect. Not one wrinkle, not one fold out of place. Professor Kael'vor watched her go. His forearms hung still at his sides. For the first time that day, he did not speak. The door slid open. Ha-Un stepped into the bright corridor outside. The doors closed behind her with a soft hiss. Inside the hall, the remaining students looked at each other. "Did she really say that?" Lyra whispered. Zilvar answered slowly. "She did, and she wore it. The real one, not a copy." The room felt colder than before. Outside, Ha-Un kept walking. She passed tall windows that showed the purple sky of Zorath Prime. She passed other students who stared, but did not speak. She touched her collar once more. A small smile touched her lips. It had been a long time since she wore it openly. Many years, many places, many names. But the fit was still the same. Snug, just right. She turned a corner and disappeared down another corridor. Behind her, the myth had started to breathe. The next day, the academy buzzed with new energy. Students moved quickly through the wide halls. They carried datapads full of old human patterns. Groups gathered in small workrooms. The project had begun. Make copies of the mythical uniform. Study it, feel it, understand why it became a legend. Professor Kael'vor walked from room to room. He checked on each group. He gave small tips. He reminded them to be careful with the fabric simulators. The material had to match the old records exactly. Stiff, but not too heavy. Smooth, but not slippery. The collar had to stand high without support. In Workroom 7, a mixed group worked together. There was Zilvar, the tall insectoid who liked to joke. Lyra, the furry one from the Ring Worlds, who asked many questions. A quiet, scaled student named Riss from a desert moon. And two humans. One was Jai Wu, a young student from a Terran colony. She had bright eyes and moved fast. She stood near the fabric machine. She watched everything without saying much. Ji Wu spoke first. "This collar is so tall. How did people even turn their heads?" Ha-Un smiled a little. They turned the whole body, slow and sure. It taught control. Zilvar clicked his mandibles. "Control? It looks like a trap. One good hit and the neck snaps." Ha-Un did not answer right away. She stepped to the simulator. She pressed a few buttons. A soft blue light appeared. A jacket formed in the air. Exact copy of the one in the hologram. Dark, simple, high collar. "Try it," she said to Ji Wu. Ji Wu reached out. The jacket slid onto her arms. It felt light at first, then heavier as it settled. She pulled the front closed. The buttons clicked into place. She tried to look left and right. Her head moved only a little. "See?" Zilvar said. "Stiff, slow, useless in a real fight." Ha-Un stepped closer. She reached out and adjusted Ji Wu's collar. She tugged it up gently. Then she smoothed the fabric over the shoulders. "Now move," Ha-Un said. Ji Wu tried again. This time her head turned easier. Not much, but enough. She lifted her arms. She bent at the waist. She even did a quick step to the side. It fits better when it's straight, Jiwoo said, surprised. Ha-un nodded. The collar protects the neck. In old boarding actions, enemies tried to grab throats. The high edge made it hard. Also, it kept the uniform neat under armor. No loose cloth to catch on things. Lyra's ears twitched. Boarding actions? You mean when they fought on ships? Yes, Ha-un said. Close fights, dark corridors, no room to run. The uniform had to work there. Riss hissed softly. Humans fought like that? With tight clothes? Ha-un looked at him. They fought smart, not wild. The uniform reminded them to stay calm, stay together. The group worked for hours. They made more copies. They tested how the jacket moved when running, when crouching, when raising arms high. Zilvar still laughed sometimes, but he laughed less. He watched Ha-un carefully. She moved like the uniform was part of her skin. During the midday break, most students left the workroom. They went to eat in the big hall. Ha-un stayed. She sat on a low bench. She drank water from a small cup. Minjun walked in. Minjun was not in the class. He was a diplomat from a neutral world called Ilara 9. Tall, thin, skin like soft silver. He often visited the academy to learn. Today he wore plain robes, no weapons, no rank signs. He stopped near Ha-un. "May I sit?" he asked. She nodded. He sat. For a moment they were quiet. "I watched the lecture yesterday," Minjun said. "And today? You wear the real one, not a copy." Ha-un looked at her cup. "Yes." "Why?" She touched the collar again. "Almost a habit." "Because it still fits," she said. Minjun leaned forward. "The myth says humans vanished. Wars, disease, or they chose to hide. Which one is true?" Ha-un looked at him. Her eyes were steady. "All of them," she said. "And none. We lost many. We hid some. We changed names. We moved to small worlds. We waited." "Waited for what?" Ha-un did not answer right away. She stood up. She walked to the fabric machine. She pressed a button. A small hologram appeared. It showed an old human ship. Long, sharp, dark hull. "Waited for the right time," she said. Minjun stood too. "You speak like you know more than the myths." "I do." Before he could ask more, an alarm sounded. Not the small practice alarm. A real one. Loud. Red lights flashed across the ceiling. A voice came over the speakers. "All students and staff. Emergency notice. An unknown vessel has entered nearby space. It broadcasts old human distress codes. The ship matches records of the indomitable dawn. Class projects are paused. Security teams move to docking bays." The room went still. Zilvar ran back in. "Did you hear? A human ship? Real one." Lyra followed. "It's been silent for centuries." Ha-un did not move fast. She finished her water. She set the cup down. She adjusted her collar one more time. Jiwoo looked at her. "You knew?" Ha-un shook her head. "I hoped." Minjun watched her closely. "You are going to it, aren't you?" Ha-un looked at the door. The red lights painted her face. "Yes," she said. The group stared. Professor Kaelvor appeared at the door. His forearms moved fast. "Ha-un," he said, "the council asks for you. They want a human to join the boarding team, as consultant." She nodded once. Zilvar clicked. "Wait, you're going inside that old ship?" "Yes." "Isn't it dangerous?" Ha-un walked past them, toward the door. "Only if you forget how to wear the uniform," she said. She stepped into the corridor. The alarm still sounded. Lights flashed. Students moved in every direction. Ha-un kept walking, straight back, steady steps, collar high. Behind her, the workroom was quiet. Jiwoo whispered to the others. She didn't even look scared. Minjun answered softly. Maybe she has worn that uniform through worse things than this. The myth was no longer just a story on a hologram. It walked the halls, it breathed, and it was going home. The shuttle ride to the indomitable dawn felt long. The small craft carried 6 people. Ha-Un sat near the front. Her uniform jacket stayed neat, collar high. She looked out the small window at the black space. Stars moved slowly past. Beside her sat Jiho. He was a young human from the same colony as Ji-Woo, tall, thin, nervous. He kept touching his new copy uniform. The collar felt strange on his neck. He tried to pull it down. It popped back up. "Why do we wear these?" Jiho asked quietly. Ha-Un turned her head just enough. "Because the ship will know us by them. Old security. It scans for the pattern, the fit, the material. If we look right, it lets us in." Jiho swallowed. "And if we don't, then it stays locked, or worse." The other team members sat in silence. 2 tall insectoids from security. 1 scaled engineer named Riss, a quiet diplomat observer from Alara 9, who Minjun had sent. The shuttle engines hummed low. Ahead, the indomitable dawn appeared. Long, dark gray, sharp edges, no lights on the outside. It looked dead, but sensors said power still ran inside. Deep inside, waiting. The shuttle docked with a soft thud. Airlocks hissed. The door opened. Cold air came in. It smelled old, metal, dust, something like oil that had not moved in centuries. Ha-Un stepped out first. Her boots made no sound on the deck. She walked forward. The corridor stretched long. Lights flickered on one by one, dim yellow, just enough to see. "Follow close," she said. "Stay in line." The team moved behind her. Jiho stayed near. He looked left and right. Shadows moved on the walls. Or maybe they didn't. They passed doors, all closed. Some had small signs in old Earth script. Armory, medbay, crew quarters. Ha-Un did not stop. A hologram appeared ahead. A human soldier in full uniform. He stood tall, collar high. He saluted. Then faded. Jiho jumped. "What was that?" "Old recording," Ha-Un said. "Greeting program. It checks who comes aboard." They kept walking. More holograms. Different soldiers. All the same uniform. All doing drills. Marching. Loading weapons. Standing watch. Always perfect lines. One of the insectoids clicked nervously. "They look angry." "They were ready," Ha-Un said. "Always ready." They reached a lift. It opened without touch. Ha-Un stepped in. The others followed. The doors closed. The lift moved up. Smooth. Quiet. Jiho whispered, "How do you know where to go?" "I don't," Ha-Un said. "The ship knows. It leads us." The lift stopped. Doors opened to the bridge. Wide room. Many chairs. Big screens dark. One central chair faced forward. Empty. In the middle of the floor stood a small pillar. On top sat a crystal core. Blue light pulsed inside. Slow, steady. Ha-Un walked to it. The team stayed back. She stopped in front of the core. She reached up, adjusted her collar one last time. Slow, careful. The core light brightened. A soft voice came from everywhere. Calm, clear, female. Biometric scan initiated. Uniform pattern match, 98.7%. Collar alignment, optimal. Subject identification, Commander Presumptive Ha-Un Kim. Welcome aboard, ma'am. Jiho's mouth opened. "It knows your name?" Ha-Un did not turn. "It knows the uniform. The rest is in the records." The screens came alive. Maps, stars, old flight paths, then crew photos, faces in uniform, smiling, serious, young, old, all gone now, long gone. The voice spoke again. "Indomitable Dawn reports status. Systems nominal. Weapons cold but functional. Crew, 0. Last active command, emergency standby protocol. Date, 214 years ago standard. Reason for activation, uniform detection. Riss stepped forward. Why hide so long? Directive 77 Alpha. After final engagement at Kalis Verge, human forces sustained 94% losses. Surviving units ordered to disperse. Go silent. Preserve core strength. Wait for recall signal. The uniform became the key. Only one wearing regulation pattern and showing correct biometric markers may awaken command core. Ha-Un looked at the core, and the recall never came. Correct. No centralized human command remained. Signal lost. Ship entered dormant mode. Drifted. Waited. Ji-Ho looked around. So, it's been waiting for someone like her? Precisely, the voice said. A human in the uniform, adjusted correctly, standing straight, ready. One insectoid security clicked loud. This is impossible. Ships don't wait centuries for one person. Ha-Un turned to him. This one did. She walked to the central chair, sat down. The chair moved slightly, adjusted to her size. Perfect. Ship status, she said. Full power available on command. Engines ready, shields ready, weapons batteries charged to 87%. Recommend diagnostic run before full activation. Do it. Lights brightened, systems hummed louder, air moved fresh. The bridge felt alive. Ji-Ho stepped closer. What now? Ha-Un looked at the big screen. It showed space outside, the Academy station far away, small, safe. Now we see why it woke up, she said. A new alert sounded, soft but sharp. Warning, incoming vessels detected. 3 heavy cruisers, unknown origin. Energy signatures match archived enemy profiles from Kalis Verge conflict. They are scanning the dawn. Weapons hot. The insectoid hissed. They followed us? Or waited, Ha-Un said. Old enemies never forget. She stood up, straight, collar snug. Ship, she said. Prepare for possible engagement. But stay quiet for now. Let them come closer. Ji-Ho's hands shook a little. We're going to fight? Ha-Un looked at him, her face calm. Not yet, she said. First we remind them who wears this uniform. She touched her collar again. Light touch. The cord pulsed brighter. The team watched her. No one laughed now. No one joked. The myth stood on the bridge, in command, ready. And the old ship answered, like it had never slept. The bridge of the indomitable dawn felt warm now. Lights glowed steady. Air moved clean and fresh. The old ship woke up fully. Every screen showed data, maps, weapon status, shield strength, all green. Ha-Un sat in the command chair. She did not move much. Her hands rested on the arms, collar still high, snug. Ji-Ho stood close. He watched the screens. His copy uniform looked new, too clean, too stiff. The voice of the ship spoke again, calm, clear. Incoming vessels now at optimal scan range. 3 heavy cruisers, class designation Varak Dominion. Same design as the fleet at Kalis Verge. Weapons locked. They send a hail. Open channel, Ha-Un said. A new screen lit up. A face appeared. Large, scaled, red eyes, sharp teeth. The Varak captain wore black armor, spikes on shoulders. Human relic, the captain said, his voice rough through translation. You wake a dead ship. You wear dead clothes. Surrender now. We take the hull. We take the core. Or we burn you out. Ha-Un looked straight at the camera. No fear. No anger. This ship is awake, she said, and I wear what fits. The captain laughed. Loud, short. Brave words for a ghost. You humans ran last time. Hid. Disappeared. Now one comes back in old cloth. Pathetic. Ha-Un touched her collar. Small motion. Ship, she said. Show them the logs from Kalis Verge. Screens changed. Old footage played. Human ships. Fast, small, against huge Varak cruisers. Humans fought close, boarded, cut through, won ground, then lost. Many died, but they hurt the enemy bad. The captain stopped laughing. You remember, Ha-Un said. We hurt you. You thought we broke. We didn't. We waited. Jiho whispered, they're charging weapons. Ha-Un nodded once. Shields up, engines hot, weapons to standby. Do not fire first. Ready. On the Academy station, far away, a holofeed showed the bridge. Professor Kaelvor watched. Zilvar, Lyra, Riss, Minjun, Ji-Woo, all stared. The class project turned real. Minjun spoke soft. She knew. She always knew. Back on the bridge, the Varrock captain growled. Last chance. Power down. Give us the ship. Ha-Un stood up. Slow. Straight. No. The captain cut the channel. Red lights flashed on the enemy cruisers. Beams charged. Bright. Hot. Ship, Ha-Un said. Evasive pattern Delta 7. Target lead cruiser's port shield emitter. Low power, warning shot. The Dawn moved. Fast. Smooth. Not like a sleeping giant. Like something alive. It rolled left. Beams missed. Wide. The Dawn fired. One clean shot. Blue-white. Hit the lead cruiser. Shields flared. Emitter sparked. Died. The Varrock ships turned. Spread out. They fired again. Heavy salvos. The Dawn danced. Twisted. Small bursts from side thrusters. Never in one place long. Jiho held the rail. How does it move like that? Old design, Ha-Un said. Built for close fights, not big lines. Humans like to get inside, where big guns can't turn fast. Another shot. Another hit. Second cruiser lost a turret. The third cruiser pushed forward. Big. Angry. It fired torpedoes. Slow. Fat. Guided. Countermeasures, Ha-Un ordered. Small drones launched from the Dawn. They flew out, met the torpedoes. Bright flashes. Nothing hit. The Varrock captain came back on screen. You fight like before, he said. But you are one. We are three. Ha-Un smiled small. Not one. She touched a panel. New signal sent. Short. Coded. Minutes passed. The fight stayed even. Dawn hit. Dodged. Hit again. Then space lit up. Two new ships appeared. Human design. Small, fast, dark hulls, no markings, but same sharp lines as the Dawn. Perfect formation. One sent a message. Voice familiar. Indomitable Dawn. This is Scout Vessel Steady Hand. Suwa commanding. Tae-Woo on tactical. We heard the recall. We came. Ha-Un's eyes softened. Just a moment. Welcome home, she said. On the Academy holofeed, gasps came. Ji-Woo whispered. More humans. In uniform. The new ships wore the same style. Jackets. High collars. Adjusted snug. The three human ships moved together. Dawn in center. Steady Hand left. Another called Quiet Resolve right. They hit the Varrock cruisers hard. Fast strikes. Precise. No waste. One Varrock ship lost engines. Drifted. Another bled air. The lead one turned to run. Ha-Un spoke on open channel. Varrock vessels, leave now, or stay and learn again why we waited. The captain did not answer. His ships pulled back. Engines flared. They jumped away. Gone. Silence on the bridge. Jiho looked at Ha-Un. You called them? She nodded. The uniform is the signal. Old code. Hidden freak. Only we know. We scattered, but we listen. Always listen. The core voice spoke. Threat neutralized. All systems stable. Awaiting further orders, Commander. Ha-Un sat again. She looked at the screens. Stars calm now. Stand down weapons. Maintain alert. But power down to low. She turned to Jiho. Go tell the others. The myth was never dead. It waited. Jiho nodded. He left the bridge. Slow steps. On stage, she touched her collar. The hollow feed from the academy showed the class. No one spoke at first. Then Minjun said, they didn't vanish. They hid, in plain sight, wearing simple clothes, waiting. Professor Kaelvor looked at the feed. The uniform, he said soft. It was never mythical. It was quiet, patient, strong. Haun looked into the camera. She knew they watched. She adjusted her collar again. Feels snug, she said, after all these years. The dawn floated quiet. 2 sister ships beside. Humanity had not left. It waited. It wore what fit. And when needed, it remembered too. The galaxy would remember too. The indomitable dawn floated calm in the dark between stars. Its 2 sister ships, steady hand and quiet resolve, stayed close. Engines idled low. No more red flashes from enemy weapons. No more sharp voices over the comms. The Varrock cruisers had fled, gone back to their space, licking wounds, carrying new stories. On the bridge, Haun stood near the main screen. She watched the empty space where the fight had happened. Her uniform jacket looked the same as before. No burns, no tears, collar still high, still snug. Jiho stood beside her. He no longer pulled at his own collar. He let it sit. The ship voice spoke soft. Damage report, minimal. Shields at 94%. Weapons cooled. All systems green. Awaiting orders, Commander. Haun nodded once. Maintain position. Open a secure link to Zorath Prime Academy. Full holo feed. Let them see. A large hologram filled the center of the bridge. It showed the lecture hall. Professor Kaelvor stood at the front. Zilvar clicked his mandibles slow. Lyra's ears lay flat. Riss stared with wide eyes. Min Jun sat straight. Ji Woo held her hands tight. Ha-Un looked into the feed. She knew they could see her. The fight is over, she said. Her voice carried clear. The old enemies came. They left. They will think twice before coming back. Professor Kaelvor spoke first. His forearms moved slow. You won, with 3 small ships. Ha-Un smiled small. Not small, just patient. We waited long. We learned to strike clean, no waste. Jiho stepped forward a little. They hid, he said. All these years, wearing the uniform under other clothes, on small ships, in quiet ports, waiting for the signal. Zilvar asked, How many? How many waited? Ha-Un looked at him. Enough. Not armies, not fleets, just people. Ready. When the call came, they answered, like always. Lyra's voice came soft. It was never a myth. No, Ha-Un said. It was truth, hidden. The uniform stayed. We changed faces, names, worlds. But the fit never changed. Snug, steady. Reminds us who we are. Min Jun leaned forward. You could have come back loud, with big ships, flags. You chose quiet. Ha-Un touched her collar. Light touch. Loud gets noticed. Quiet lasts. We learned that at Kalis Verge. We paid high price. Then we chose different. We spread thin. We waited. We watched. When needed, we move. Fast. Hard. Then gone again. Ji Woo spoke up. And now? What happens now? Ha-Un looked around the bridge, at Jiho, at the core that pulsed blue, at the sister ships outside. Now we decide, she said. Stay hidden, or step out slow. Show the galaxy we never left, just waited. The class was silent a long time. Professor Kaelvor said, The uniform. It changed everything today. We laughed at it, called it stiff, called it old. But it carried a whole people through time. Ha-Un nodded. It did, simple cloth, simple cut, but it held us together. When worlds broke, when friends died, when hope got thin, we adjusted the collar, stood straight, kept going. She turned to the ship voice. Prepare message packet. Old codes, for any human listening. Signal, dawn awake, family home, come if ready. Packet sent, the voice answered. Wide band, encrypted, will reach the quiet places. Ha-Un looked back at the hollow feed. To the class, she said, study this, not as myth, as fact. Humans did not vanish. We waited, we adapted, we wore what fit, and when the time came, we remembered why. Zilvar spoke slow. I thought it was joke, a funny story. Now I see. You are not gone. You are here. Always were. Lyra added, the collar, it looks different now. Not stiff, strong. Ha-Un smiled. It feels snug after all these years. She adjusted it one last time. Careful. Perfect. The hollow feed stayed open. Students watched. No one moved. Outside, steady hand and quiet resolve drifted close. Sua's voice came over comms. Commander, we wait your word. Go dark again? Or stay a while? Ha-Un looked at the stars. Stay a while, she said. Let them see. Let them learn. Then we decide next step. She sat in the command chair. The chair fit perfect, like the uniform, like the ship, like the people who waited. The dawn powered down slow. Lights dimmed soft. Not gone, just resting. Far away, on small colonies, on hidden stations, on quiet ships drifting between systems, old receivers blinked, caught the signal. People in plain clothes stopped, touched hidden collars under shirts, smiled small, adjusted fit, remembered. Some stood up, some started engines, some whispered to friends. The dawn is awake, time to go home. On Zoroth Prime, the lecture halls stayed quiet. Professor Kale Vor turned off the feed at last. He looked at his students. Class dismissed, he said. But the lesson stays. Myths are sometimes true, and sometimes they wear simple clothes. Stand straight and win. The students left slow. No rush, no noise. Outside the academy, night fell soft. Twin suns set. Stars came out. Somewhere in the dark, 3 human ships floated together. Uniforms neat, collars high. Ha-Un stood at a window, looked at the galaxy. She touched her collar once more. Snug, still perfect, after all these years. The story was not over. It just got quiet again. Waiting. Ready. Humanity never left. It simply wore what fit.